good night. He came.
So let's shoot the ball well. We got to attack and control the boards. We got to be road warriors, tough, and we got to be nasty. And we got to be tenacious, fellas, because you're on their home court. And we got to play the right way. If we play the right way, fellas, we'll have a lot of fun, and we'll enjoy this trip. Okay, let's go, right? Hard work. 1, 2, 3. Hard work. Let's go. Work. Go.
We'll see how the Gophers come out tonight with another road game on the slate from Value City Arena facing the Ohio State Buckeyes. And the winner of this game, believe it or not, has a chance to pull into a tie for second place potentially before the weekend is up. Hi, everybody. Alongside Jim Jackson, I'm Craig Deshawn. Great to have you aboard with us here tonight. And, of course, Ohio State coming off an impressive win over Purdue. Minnesota shell-shocked at Michigan State. What do you expect out of the Gophers tonight, Jim?
Well, I tell you what, after the Gophers got manhandled at Michigan State, I can guarantee you right now this team will come out much more prepared, ready, more energy, more energetic. They will not start this game the same way they started at Michigan State.
Evan Turner and William Buford led the march against Purdue. Impressive performances by the youngsters. Are these rising stars now for this team?
Well, they are. And Evan Turner, last 4 games averaging 24 points a game, 4 assists, 10 rebounds. More importantly, he's creating opportunities for his teammates by handling the ball at the point guard positions. He's setting his teammates up for success. And now what he's doing, he has confidence that he can be the scorer and help lead this Buckeye team to victory. But William Buford, an outstanding freshman, my freshman of the year. Over the last 2 games, as you see, 23.5 points. But what I love about William is his confidence. A 1-2 dribble pull-up jump shot, the ability to attack the basket, but more importantly, he has confidence that he can compete and contribute to this team.
We welcome in the third member of our crew now, Carissa Thompson, who was at the Gopher shoot-around earlier today. What was the mood like over there, Carissa?
I was, and talking to Coach Tubby Smith, he said the reason his team fell so hard to Michigan State is very simple. They weren't aggressive enough. I asked Al Nolan how practices have changed since that game. He said Coach has really upped the intensity. Now, here's the deal. During the shoot-around, guys, there wasn't a lot of shooting around. Let's just put it this way. Coach Tubby Smith was the only one doing the talking and coaching a lot on the fundamentals. And he cannot be the only one talking tonight. He's really going to need someone to step up and assume that leadership position here this evening.
All right, Carissa, she'll be roaming the sidelines all night long. And today's starting lineup brought to you by Sure Start Herbicide from Dow AgroSciences for the Gophers. It all starts with the point guard, Al Nolan, who Coach Tubby Smith says wants a big push to get his team off to a good start tonight. Westbrook, the leading scorer, and the 2 freshmen up front in Iverson and Sampson. Now for the Buckeyes, here's Evan Turner.
I'm Evan Turner, starting forward for the Ohio State Buckeyes, and a nice start lineup. It's Jeremy Simmons at point guard, John Diebler at shooting guard, William Buford at small forward, and Dallas Lardell, the big man in the middle.
All right, Evan, appreciate that. Thad Matta, the head coach at Ohio State, 5th year at OSU, has had 20 win seasons in every year as a head coach, 4 victories shy of that 9th straight effort coming up this season. And Tubby Smith, 2 victories shy of his 16th straight 20-win season, but more importantly, trying to get the Gophers back to the NCAA tournament for the first time in 4 years. And we are set to jump and get this game underway between the Gophers and the Buckeyes. This is game 2 of the season series, opening tip. And Turner has it for the Buckeyes. They control the opening tap. What do you expect early?
Well, early on, I want to see how, one, Jeremy Simmons handles the pressure up top. He has to make good plays. Second, I want to see the body language and the energy that the Gophers come out with. That will tell a lot about if this team is ready to play.
Inside, Buford kicks it back out. 3 ball won't go for Buford. Here come the Gophers now.
But even on that play, you saw the ability of Evan Turner to get in the middle, get in the seams, but also create an opportunity. A great shot and a great look from William Buford. He'll take that all day.
So the Gophers working patiently around the perimeter. Looking inside to Iverson. Ball chipped out of bounds. And the Gophers are going to get it back. Turner got a hand on it. Opening moments here from Columbus. The Buckeyes and the Gophers. Game 2 of their season series. Game 1 won by the Gophers back in Minnesota on January 3rd. An aggressive play off the top.
Yeah, you really don't want to get the ball in the corner because that's an easy opportunity to trap. Westbrook did a great job of recognizing he had two defenders and threw it off their leg. Now they get another chance to get it up top.
Lauderdale, an imposing presence, and a nice save by Turner. Quick three on the way, rims out. Diebler had a good look, and a collision in the backcourt.
We have double fouls.
And a double foul coming up.
Foul on number 52, Dallas Lauderdale. His first.
It's going to be on Lauderdale of Ohio State and Colton Iverson of Minnesota.
And I really think from Minnesota's perspective, Colton Iverson has to get involved in this game early. I think, from a confidence standpoint, to get Colton some easy layups, maybe get to the free throw line, it will also help and assist him on his aggressiveness on the defensive end of the court, where they're really going to need Colton to step in, grab those rebounds, be a presence defensively inside as well.
And our officiating crew of Ted Hillary, J.D. Collins, and John Hughes getting things straight between them after the double foul. Got to get order in these games early. Some pressure by the Buckeyes. Minnesota handles it. 68-59 was that score back on January 3rd. It wasn't long after that Ohio State had lost Whitey to the season-ending injury. Inside, Iverson blocked. What a job by Lauderdale. With 1 second on the shot clock, it won't go, and Ohio State's defense prevails again. And another backcourt foul on the Gophers.
Great half-court defense that time by the Buckeyes. They communicated with each other. They didn't allow dribble penetration here as Nolan got by a defender. Lauderdale was there to block the shot, and that's the key for this Buckeye team. One of the things they want to get back to, Thad Matta, is getting back to that man-to-man pressure defense. Get away from the zone a little bit. That increases the tempo of the game in their favor, they feel.
Still no score here in Columbus. Turner in traffic. Reload. Won't go. Here come the Gophers. And nearly lost by Westbrook. W. Smith yelling out instructions to Nolan. He's putting a lot of pressure on Nolan to get things going early for this team, isn't it?
Well, as a point guard, he has to press the play a little bit. He has to kind of get the tempo the way this team wants it to go, as we see Ralph Sampson with the shot. The point guard is very important in both of these systems because, one, defensively, you have to control your man, but offensively, you got to know who and when to get the ball to and who's hot.
Simmons straight up three won't go. Westbrook pulling the ball away and a fight for it. And Turner and Westbrook not giving an inch. And the crowd here in Columbus likes what they see out of the Buckeyes. And Tubby Smith likes the aggressiveness from his Gopher team.
Well, it means a lot for both teams. Minnesota coming off a tough loss against Michigan State. Ohio State now kind of finding their rhythm. The middle of the pack, as we saw the records earlier in the Big Ten, it's tough. 6-4, 6-4, 6-3. This game is huge right now for both teams, and it's the one who's going to be the most aggressive that's going to come out and kind of dominate and take control of this game.
J.D. Collins getting an earful from Tubby Smith. A tie-up was called. And a question of who's going to get on the possession arrow. And it's going to go to Minnesota. They are set to inbound.
And as you see, Craig, you're going to see some pressure. And part of the thing about pressure on both sides, maybe is not for a team to turn the ball over. It's to wear you down. So as you get late in the later stages of the game, we see Damian attacking the basket. Now you get more content, and those passes come up short, and that pressure now begins to work and results in turnovers.
Buford pull-up. Hits the shot, first points of the game.
And that's what William Buford can do. The lost art of the 1-2 dribble pull-up, he has that down to perfection, and that's one thing I love about his game.
Nolan quickly answers in the lane with the penetration.
You can't substitute quickness, Greg. The ability
can.
to get the ball back up and down the court and score before the defense gets set, that's something that Al Nola can do with the best of the point guards in this league.
Turner along the baseline loses it. And given right back. Buford's got it for the Buckeyes, and he'll wait for the crew to get down. And he nearly loses it and does lose it out of bounds, but the Buckeyes will keep it right underneath their own basket. 28 seconds on the shot clock. B.J. Mullins in for Lauderdale for the Buckeyes. 2-2 game. Nearly 4 minutes into this contest. Three ball on the way, won't go. Westbrook the rebound for the Gophers.
You know, even though they missed that shot, I mean, the Buckeyes got to be happy with the shots that they're getting early on. They just have to knock them down. They continue to get those kind of shots. Things can change a little bit, and you know, those 3-point shots and 2-pointers will be hit.
A disjointed start to this game.
I think both teams are pressing a little bit because they know the importance of this game.
Iverson.
Ohio State number 21.
Count it, and the foul when we come back. Just under 16 to go. Both teams coming out aggressive here in Columbus. Gophers, Buckeyes. Big Ten Network Basketball is brought to you by State Farm, where great coverage meets great rates. Call, click, or visit and start saving today. Minnesota 4-2 over Ohio State. Let's check in after this timeout now with Carissa Thompson.
Well, guys, I mentioned earlier how Coach Smith was the only one talking at shoot-around. He was doing a lot of that talking in that last timeout, directing a lot of his comments towards Westbrook and Nolan. I asked him about the leadership on this team, and he said that's the problem. Not being negative, but there's not one guy that shouldered that responsibility so far this year. He says, you know, maybe I need to pull these guys in and one-on-one talk to them about who's going to step up and do that, because right now he feels like he's the only one being the leader, and that's not enough from the sideline.
You know, with that, Craig, when you're building a team, you need to have a defined leader. I don't care if they're on the bench, they're a senior, whatever it is. The coach can't be the leader on and off the court all the time. And that's what Tubby is talking about. When times get tough, a player has to be able to be there to step up, and players have to respect him. And right now, when you don't have it, it's tough on the team and the coaching staff.
And you can't use the excuse, well, Coach Smith hasn't been here that long. It's the second year. Shot is good, a three-pointer. And the Buckeyes tied up now 5-5 after Iverson hit the free throw to complete the three-point play in the other end.
And, you know, Craig, and a leader is not someone that's just, okay, I'm going to be the leader position. No, you have to have that in you, and the teammates have to really respect you, sort of like David Lighty for the Buckeyes. You know, they know he's the team leader on and off the court. It doesn't matter. And that's something that the Gophers have to have.
Shot clock under 10 for Minnesota. Westbrook trying to gain some sort of edge. Throws it up with the left hand, and it rolls in. Tough shot.
You know, great defense by William Buford. Slid his feet all the way across the lane. That's where you just tap Lawrence Westbrook on the button and say, you know what, great shot.
Minnesota's leading scorer, just under 14 a game. Ball loose. Westbrook comes out of there with it for Minnesota. Gophers on the run. And Nolan will set things up. Pass deflected away. And Ohio State comes out of there with it. B.J. Mullins' aggressive hands.
Yeah, and it was a tough passing angle by Colton Iverson to try to get that basketball to Ralph Sampson below. It's all about angles in this game, Greg.
Drive along the baseline. Won't go. Here come the Gophers again. Leading this game 7-5. And they are trying to rebound after a 76-47 loss at Michigan State in their last game earlier this week. Nice feed. Sampson flushes home. A 9-5 advantage now for the Gophers.
And that was a great decision by Westbrook by driving to the lane or driving baseline. He had two options. He had a man on the baseline, but also he found Sampson diving down the middle of the court.
Just a good start Tubby Smith wanted.
Exactly. On the road, you're kind of controlling tempo. You're getting the shots you want. You're playing good half-court defense, forcing the Buckeyes to shoot jump shots instead of getting inside.
A lot of action around the Big Ten, and then out of the Big Ten as Michigan goes out of conference to take on yet another top 5 opponent and really give number 1 UConn a run on the road before losing 69-61. They led at halftime, led in the second half, played them tough.
You know, that's where depth comes into play, especially when you go on the road. You play against a team like UConn who can go 8, 9, 10 deep, and Michigan can't go that deep. So your starters log a lot of minutes.
Turner takes the pass, misses the shot. Carter in for Minnesota has the rebound. Gophers have been strong inside the paint, scoring 8 of their 9 points there so far.
You know, we're talking about depth. Look at this Minnesota team. They can go 9, 10, 11 deep. As you see, they just subbed in 5 new players right now.
They'll go 11 deep, averaging at least 4 points a game, that entire 11 that get on the floor on a regular basis for Tubby Smith. And a fresh set of hands and legs get a reset for the Gophers.
Yeah, and speaking of fresh legs, that allows you to press a lot more, be more aggressive on the defensive end. While the other team doesn't have that same kind of depth, it wears on you over the course of the game.
Minnesota 9-5 rebounding advantage right now. Shot clock under 10. And pass is intercepted by Buford. Quickly down court, Mullins with authority. Minnesota trying to answer quickly on the other end. And a foul instead on P.J. Mullins.
You know, this right now is what's making Evan Turner special as a player. The ability to take the ball from one end of the court to the other. And it's up, always recognizing where players are at. But he put the ball in a place in a situation where B.J. Mullins could just react and dunk the ball in the basket.
You don't have to be the traditional point guard penetrator to pick up a nice assist that way.
No, well, you don't. I mean, but it's all about recognition. And I think Evan Turner is growing into this role on a daily and on a game basis. And his confidence is soaring out the roof, and you can see that as evident in that play right there.
Damian Johnson, second free throw. And he's 2 for 2 at the line, so Minnesota extends that lead out to 11-7. And Johnson goes out. And Jamal Abu-Shamala comes in for the Gophers. So the bench now going to work for Minnesota.
If you're Minnesota, too, if you're fans at home, you want to keep an eye, I think, on Carter, because he has the ability at the 4 position to rebound the basketball, take it coast to coast. He can finish at the rim. Great defensive player as well. So I think that, you know, out of this lineup here, Carter is kind of like the main go-to guy if you want to look at someone and identify who can score the basketball with this group on the floor.
Well, those are pretty impressive numbers to bring 11 out on a regular basis. Mullins can't get it to go. Here come the Gophers. DeVoe Joseph with the ball. And the shot clock never reset after the exchange. Don't see that too often, if ever. So they're going to have to reset the shot clock and figure out how much time should properly be left for Minnesota. We'll take a break while they do that here in Columbus. Gophers out in front. Gophers by 4 over the Buckeyes here in the first half. Get jacked up, Big Ten fans, with our Big Ten Sports Stop featuring live interactive sportscasts for all Big Ten games. Get real-time stats, photos, trivia, chat, and more, and for all of today's Big Ten hoops action. There's no other real-time sports experience like it on the web today. It's everything a Big Ten fan could want. Go to BigTenNetwork.com/SportsTop right now. Speaking of right now, my favorite time, the Jackson 5 are keys to the game.
Yeah, you know, if you're Ohio State right now, or Minnesota, curtail Turner. Don't allow him to get off. Force turnovers. The tendency of the Ohio State Buckeye backcourt is to turn the ball over. The Buckeyes, you got to handle that full court press, understand and recognize what defense they're in. Bigs must control the paint for the Buckeyes. Last game, 3 for 4 between Mullen and Lauderdale inside, only 6 points. And also, limit the turnovers. Limit the turnovers if you're the Buckeyes. There's 14 in the first game. You have to take those things away. Allow not to have empty possessions if you're the Buckeyes.
Go happen with those someday?
Yeah, one day. You know, my cousins, from Gary, Indiana, have already set the table for me already.
There you go. And he's watching tonight.
That's right, little Heartbreak Hotel. Yeah.
Paul Carter with the flush, and Minnesota 13-7 lead over the Buckeyes. Defense has kind of been the name of the game here, but Minnesota's offense coming through, their depth showing early.
Well, I think it may be 8 to 10 points right now the Gophers have in the paint. So that's 10 out of 13 points are inside. Right now, a great pull-up jump shot by William Buford, but the Buckeyes are not getting anything inside, and they're going to have to get that if they want to come out and win this game.
Bruce Shamala with the ball, gives it up to Harfarber. Now the Gophers work this Ohio State defense. Carter down low. Williams tries to finish. Can't. Buckeyes have it.
Great recognition by Carter. I mean, Williams missed a shot inside, but that's where you want to get the ball, in between the seams, deep at that free throw line, extended. Now you have the high-low situation. Williams just has to finish that play the next time around.
Get an opportunity in the paint, though, for the Gophers.
Another one. Another opportunity in the paint.
P.J. Hill will inbound right in front of the Gopher bench. Tubby Smith keeping the Gophers fresh on the floor. Ohio State will set up their offense now, trailing by 4. Diebler hits a 3.
Great recognition by P.J. Hill, shifting the ball side to side, east and west, allowing the zone to shift with you. Now you got little gaps in there. P.J. was able to find John Diebler, who stopped the open 3.
And a collision away from the ball. 2 Minnesota Gophers go down. Paul Carter holding his right elbow.
B.J. Mullins is second, T4.
It looks like he has a little stinger. Paul Carter. And who said basketball wasn't physical? A physical sport.
Here's another look at what happened.
Incidental,
Ooh,
incidental trip first by B.J. Mullen on Joseph, who then fell into Carter.
Boy, you're not seeing someone coming from behind, though, with your legs getting cut out. I always think about the knee. Joseph spin move. Carter battles for the loose ball. Buckeyes come out of there with a Turner on the run. Look at him go. Diebler, 3, can't get it this time. Carter open from the corner. Short. And a rebound to the Buckeyes and Buford. Ohio State last 3 games have shot better than 60%, which is phenomenal. Not so far in this one against the Gophers.
Yeah, and I think they're getting different kind of shots. In the last 3 games, a lot of shots came off dribble penetration, getting into the gaps, getting into the teeth of the defense. Like you see William Buford, who's always confident about his jump shot. And that 3-pointer right there is indicative of what kind of shots the Buckeyes were able to have. Great defense by Diebler.
Turner can't finish, but the foul is coming up on Sampson. So a big 3 ball and some aggressive defense, and Ohio State regains the momentum.
Again, defense wins you basketball games. Paul Carter a little quick right here. Great defense by John Diebler, recognizing that Evan Turner was up ahead with a little foul from Sampson, now going to the free throw line.
Evan Turner at 21 points in the first meeting of the season back on January 3rd against Minnesota. But it's what he's done lately. The reigning Big Ten Player of the Week. He had 26 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 assists against Purdue the other night.
Stuff in the stat sheet.
Boy.
You know, a versatile player. And, you know, he's growing into his game every day. So he's learning more. He's not where he wants to be, but he's understanding where he can go as a player.
And that one thrown away by Minnesota. Turnover starting to mount. 6 already for the Gophers here in the first half.
Yeah, and that turnover right there was an unforced turnover. You know, Al Nolan knows better than try to make that long distance pass. When you're against the zone, against the press, side to side, middle, then you attack.
One side of the coin, as you mentioned earlier, both teams kind of looking for that true point guard to stand out.
Well, you need it. I mean, any successful college team, you see a foul, offensive foul inside on Lauderdale, has a very good point guard. You don't necessarily have to be a great point guard, but the point guard is so vital to how a team plays offensively and defensively, and both teams are searching. Now, Al Nolan is a little bit more experienced and ahead of the Ohio State point guards, but both teams still need that mature point guard to really lead their teams.
Abu Shamala comes back in for the Gophers. Ohio State over the last 3+ minutes on a 10-2 run to take a 4-point lead over Minnesota. Applying a little bit of pressure again. Nolan brings it up. Inside. Iverson can't finish.
And the Gophers have to convert on that. Al Nolan did a great job of taking his time, breaking the press. Great ball movement, great pass inside from Damian Jones to Colton Iverson. He has to finish that around the basket.
Turner blocked. Johnson on defense. Westbrook quickly down from the left side.
And it all started by Damian Johnson. This is VIP, the go-to guy on all situations for the Gophers. He can do a little bit of everything, and there he showed his defensive ability by blocking the jump shot and starting the break for the Gophers.
We talked about Turner's hot numbers just a moment ago. Johnson, the primary guy to cool them off. Buford hitting again. And Ted Hillary and J.D. Collins immediately stop play, trying to make sure they have the correct call, either a 2 or a 3. Lawrence Westbrook penetrating for Minnesota. 4-point lead for the Buckeyes. .7:28 to go here in the first half. Jim Jackson, Craig Kashan on board with you. Pretty good matchup so far in this game. Ohio State leading it 19-15. Now let's take a look at the last meeting back on January 3rd between these two schools. One in Minnesota. Damian Johnson, the flush inside. And Minnesota going to work outside the arc in this game one matchup with 8 threes. And Ohio State losing this one on the road, 68-59. And how about Evan Turner afterwards, saying we've got to grow up, for crying out loud, and play our roles. Hats off to Minnesota, but we lost this game ourselves. Interesting as you look for the leader to speak out.
Now, you know, recognizing that Minnesota, yes, played a good game is one thing, but also recognizing that we as a team didn't take care of our business is something else. And it's easy to point the finger and say, well, you know, it was this, and this. But what Evan was saying, it was us. It was us. We didn't take care of our business. And I think that's the mindset they have taken since that game, and I think that's why they're playing a lot better right now.
Well, they've certainly done the job. They've won 3 in a row. They've shot 60% from the floor, which is phenomenal. In fact, they're the only Big Ten team right now in conference play shooting better than 50%, and only Michigan State over the last 15 years has been able to say that.
Well, and that comes from a combination of a couple of things. One, you're getting good shots, high percentage shots. That can either come from layups, that can come from offensive rebounds, but if you break down the defense, it can get into the gaps and get open three-point shots, open jump shots. Now your shooting percentage is going to be reflective of that. And I think they're trying to get to that right now, and that's why they're shooting the ball so well.
All right, so both teams set to break out of the huddle. Our Cargill Big Ten assist leaders looks like this. Pretty tight all the way across with Taylor Battle of Penn State leading the way at 5.3 a contest, and Penn State continuing to have a very, very nice Big Ten season.
Great list of point guards right there. I mean, for the Big Ten. Great list of point guards, quality point guards, young point guards at that. I mean, really growing and learning, you know, how to play this game. And I'm excited to see the growth in all of those point guards.
We'll see him around for a while. a youthful but very competitive Big Ten conference.
Yes, it is.
So Minnesota has the ball back, down 4. Westbrook, outside shot won't go. They've been so successful scoring 12 of their points so far in the paint. A 12-2 run by the Buckeyes over the last 4+ minutes, however. Things have slowed down a bit. Ohio State trying to work against that Minnesota defense. Shot clock under 10. Simmons pulls up, hits the shot.
Patience by Simmons, didn't force a play. Recognize that his defender backed off him a little bit. Again, if you can recognize a good jump shot, 1-2 dribble pull up, you'll take that from your point guard at 15, 18 feet.
Last time Ohio State beat Minnesota when the Gophers were ranked 1982. Minnesota coming in 19th in the coaches poll in this game. Under 10 on the shot clock. In the corner, Nolan. 3 on the shot clock. Out to Johnson. 3 ball on the way. Can't bank it home. And Ohio State comes out of there with it.
Yeah, and what the tendency to have if you're the Gophers or you're playing against the zone is to swing the ball around the perimeter. You need little dribble drives. You need penetrating passes into the key. Collapse the defense. Now that opens it up for your open jump shots. Or you can even get inside and score. You can't just pass the ball around the perimeter east and west. It has to be north and south penetration.
5.5 minutes to go in the first half. Buford, long 3, off the mark. Abu Shamala the rebound for the Gophers. Nolan pushes right ahead to Iverson, and he scores. 2 more in the paint for the Gophers.
Heads up play by Al Nolan. Poor transition defense on the Buckeyes, not recognizing that Colt Iverson was streaking to the basket.
21-17 Buckeyes. Turner tries to post up, and he's fouled by Abu Shamala. Coming up, it's the State Farm halftime report. Dave Rebson, Gene Cady, Tim Doyle bring you up to speed on the entire conference. They'll have first half analysis as well as a recap of Michigan at #1 UConn. What a battle it was. Also Jim Jackson's midseason awards on the way. You're getting to work for this game, aren't you?
Got that right, you know. Earning every dime.
You don't get the weekend OT?
No such thing. I don't even know what that is. It's just work, but it's enjoyable work, trust me.
It beats work, that's what I say.
Right.
Simmons, nice penetration off the window. 23-17 Buckeyes.
Oh.
That one poked away by Diebler off of Nolan.
Yeah, and actually that was another unforced turnover by Al Nolan. Kind of just came out of a spin move and lost the basketball. As we see right here, not even a spin move, just lost it. And you know, turnovers are part of the game, Craig. But unforced turnovers kill coaches because now you have lost possessions. And you have empty possessions on offensive end of the court.
7 giveaways by the Gophers here in the first half. Just 3 for the Buckeyes. Nolan out. And DeVoe Joseph in. And Tubby Smith parks Al Nolan right next to him on the bench.
Talking to his young point guard. The maturation process of a point guard is very difficult. It's almost like a quarterback. A young quarterback growing into his own is tough. But that's why coaches stay on them, because they know that they're the captain of the offense and defense.
Turner blocks the shot, tries to keep it alive, and does. Off of the Gophers. This one off Carter, and the Buckeyes will get the ball back.
Great defense right here. Coaches always tell you, contest the shot. Even if you think you're out of it, you never know what happens. When you have a long arm span or reach like Evan Turner, you can come up with blocks like that.
Batson from Turner from midcourt.
Great recognition by Evan Turner once again. Poor recognition on the backside of the Gopher defense to know that there was an open player underneath.
Hoffarber misses the three, keeps it alive, and a fresh clock for Minnesota. Joseph out high for the Gophers. Trailing in this game now, 25-17. Carter, the pull-up. Won't go. Look at him battle to keep it alive. And it's going to be out of bounds. And it's going to be a foul coming up. Look at the feed to Madsen. 25-17 Buckeyes.
Welcome back to Columbus, everybody, where the Buckeyes lead 25-17 over the Golden Gophers. During that last timeout, Tubby Smith really emphasized defense to his team, making sure that his players are switching on those screens. They're getting burned on the backside. Also, court awareness, almost signaling to his players from his eyes to theirs, making sure that they're well aware of where their teammates are on the floor for the best shot selection, guys.
All right, Carissa. Tubby Smith 6-8 in the Big Ten on the road, 3-2 this year. And just to talk a little bit more about the defense, Minnesota's holding Ohio State down to 42%.
And talking, you know, sorry about that, but talking to the coaching staff, what they really wanted to impress upon the young guys, come out and put pressure on this Ohio State Buckeye team. Make the point guards make plays and make decisions, because they're prone, the backcourt, to turn the basketball over with pressure, and we want them to feel us early on in this game.
A couple of free throws by Carter. That last foul, by the way, before the timeout was on Jeremy Simmons of Ohio State. 16 fouls apiece. There's Ohio State shooting. They were cold to start out, which is 3 of 13, but they made 7 of their last 11. That's the groove they've been in the last 3 games.
Yeah, quality shots off dribble penetration, making the defense move east and west, and then taking advantage of the gaps and the pull-up jump shot opportunities that are there.
They did a number against Purdue, top defensive team in the Big Ten, shooting at 60%. Turner again, 27-19. Buckeyes extend that lead back.
And that was great, you know, great defense by Damian Johnson, but it was great patience by Evan Turner, taking his time to get a shot and get to where he wanted to get to on the basketball court.
Iverson has it slapped away. Johnson picks up the garbage.
Right place, right time. Damian Johnson, that's what he does. You know, his stats are not going to jump out at you, but his defense, you know, 2.2 block shots a game, a 1.8 steal, that's what he brings to the table. He hangs around, he knows how to play, and he understands his role.
Turner needs some help, kicks it back out to Simmons. 6-point advantage right now for the Buckeyes. 2.5 minutes to go, first half. Nice feed down low and a good block by Johnson. And he's starting to shine defensively in the last several minutes for the Gophers.
And he's the do everything guy for this Minnesota team, and he understands that. Okay, a man got beat back door. Guess what? I got to help my man baseline. If he gets beat, I'm there to clean it up, and that's what Damian Johnson did.
Joseph brings it up now. Johnson out high for the Gophers. Just over 2 minutes to go, first half here in Columbus. Joseph, long three. Got it for Minnesota, their first 3 ball.
And again, great defense. John Deaver put a hand, but it was a better shot on the offensive end.
All of their field goal points have come in the paint before that 3. And the whistle is it on the shot. We're going to get a foul on Westbrook. And coming up, it is the State Farm halftime report. Dave Rebson, Gene Cady, Tim Doyle bringing you up to speed on the entire conference. We'll have first half analysis and a recap of Michigan against number 1 UConn. Michigan giving another top 5 team a serious run at an upset. 1:31 to go. Ohio State leads this game by 3 here in the first half.
As we see Evan Turner now go out the game, one of the interesting things this coaching staff, the Buckeyes, talked about was the ability to use Evan Turner in the backcourt a lot more as a point forward, initiating the offense. When Anthony Crater left, that left a void as far as point guards on this team. And look forward to seeing the rest of the second half of this season, even in this game. Evan Turner handling the basketball a lot, running a lot of pick and rolls, initiating the offense and making plays for this Buckeye team.
So the foul, Manson went to the free throw line in the bonus situation, was not on the shot. And he's bumped by Hill. That'll be a 1-and-1 situation now at the free throw line.
Incidental contact, but again, it's a tough call for the referees here because you have a player driving to the basket or making an aggressive move. Feet get tangled. You know, what does the ref call? He has to be consistent. So if he calls it once, he has to continue to call that same kind of action.
And the foul on Diebler. So to the free throw line for Minnesota now goes Devron Bostic.
Damian Johnson, a poor box out by the Buckeyes, taking for granted that the ball was going to come. You were going to secure the rebound. Damian Johnson, being an experienced player, recognized where the ball was coming off at. That's how you can determine if you're a good rebounder.
Johnson misses the shot. It was there. He had a good look. 45 seconds to go, first half. Ohio State walks it up. Ball's been in Turner's hands a lot here in the first half. This one deflected away.
By who?
Johnson's got it. And he gets it back and he finishes.
I mean, and he's one of these unsung heroes that don't get a lot of recognition. But he provides so much for this Gopher team. And you've seen it on 2 consecutive plays. How important Damian Johnson is to this Gopher team.
Final 10 seconds. Turner trying to make his move off the window and gets the home roll. Johnson lets it fly from half court. And it won't go. So Ohio State, after the first 20 minutes, leads it by 3 here at the break. William Buford with 9 points, including 1 3-pointer in this ball game for Ohio State to lead the way in scoring. Game 2 of the season series between these two clubs. Let's check in now with Carissa Thompson.
Coach, the Golden Gophers getting almost all of their points from the inside. Game plan defensively in the second half.
Well, we obviously got to do a better job, man. What I want to do is make shots. I thought we had some great looks to open up the game, and shots weren't going down. We got a little bit careless, but they're slipping the screens a little bit on us. We just got to have more awareness, more ball pressure.
I know you emphasize that extra pass. Do you like what you see from your team offensively?
I did, and like I said, I thought, especially to open up the game, I thought we had some great looks. They didn't go down, and maybe this end will be a little better to us.
You were able to capitalize on the turnovers. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Coach.
We need it.
Guys.
All right, Carissa with Ohio State head coach Thad Matta. 29-26 our score here in Columbus at the break. Buckeyes lead it. Let's go to the Big Ten studios. They have the 3-point advantage right now over Minnesota. What kind of an adjustment do you see at halftime?
Well, I think Ohio State has to continue to get quality shots, get inside the lane, create those opportunities, also get out in the break a little bit more. As you see him going to Evan Turner. If you're Minnesota, right there on the defensive end, you have to impose your will. Start to do that. Right now you see Abdul Shamala starting in the second half. Get out in the open court. Create some opportunities for yourself.
Evan Turner, John Diebler, and William Buford played the entire first half, all 20 minutes for Thad Matta. Now they work against this Gopher defense. Minnesota was able to pull close here after the first 20 minutes of action. It's been a pretty entertaining basketball game so far. Iverson, the foul on Lauderdale with 2 seconds left on the shot clock. Let's take a look at our game leaders presented by Auto Owners Insurance. Buford leading all scorers with 9 points. Westbrook with 5 rebounds, and Turner 3 assists for Ohio State.
Yeah, and Craig, and you see on that last defensive play, you play defense for 32 seconds, great defense. And right there, Colton Iverson, great position inside. But once that arm comes down, now you give the defender a chance to run up into you, and the referee calls a foul. Colton Iverson has to be smarter on that defensive end and just make Dallas Lauderdale make that shot.
Lauderdale, a 45% free throw shooter. Unorthodox style, misses both.
Yeah, that's a tough free throw style. But, you know, I've seen worse. I've seen worse, but he continues to work on trying to perfect that. And as a big man, it's tough to shoot free throws anyway if you're big.
Opening moment of the second half between the Buckeyes and the Gophers. Lauderdale playing defense, using that size against Iverson. Buford spins, tries to tap in the miss, won't go. Now the Gophers a chance to run.
And this is where the Gophers, I think, have to take advantage. In that secondary break, try to find an opportunity to score. You know, the Buckeyes did a great job of giving back, but I don't think the spacing on that break was good enough to get a good quality shot.
Always thinking it's going to be there, though.
That's right. You got to look for it.
Johnson needs some help. Finds Westbrook. 7 on the shot clock. Against Simmons. Throws one up. Iverson taps it out to keep it alive in a fresh clock. Minnesota's gotten a lot of second chance opportunities. Not exactly capitalizing, but opportunities have been there. Nice look inside. Iverson finishes. Westbrook the feed.
Well, their patience that time, understanding who had who, how do you get the basketball inside. I think it's very important in the second half as you see Westbrook with a little hesitation inside, pump fake, Iverson diving to the basket, slow rotation by William Buford. But I think you have to get Iverson involved in this game because he can be critical to scoring points in the paint again to help this team.
So the old-fashioned three-point play works after the foul on Buford. Points in the paint, 20-8 advantage for the Gophers. And we are tied at 29. Buford. And a reload for Turner and the Buckeyes. Diebler hits a three and makes the Gophers pay.
Offensive rebound sometimes lead to another opportunity. Great recognition, swinging the ball around the perimeter to an open John Diebler. Step right in and can the shot.
Diebler with 2 threes in this ball game. Westbrook loses the ball, and now the Buckeyes have it. They've got some numbers. Diebler's pass intercepted. Here comes Abu Shamala. He goes straight up and hits the shot.
Yeah, a lost opportunity for the Buckeyes there. Not a smart play by Jeremy Simmons. Understanding that Buford and Diebler were trailing the play, you have to make that pass there to get a shot at the basket. If not now, you have a turnover, transition basket for the Gophers.
Abu Shamala had a little vision there against 3 Buckeye defenders.
That's a tough shot.
Sure was.
I wonder if he had his eyes open when he shot. I mean, that was a tough shot.
It was a tough shot.
Great offensive play by Abu Shamala.
Shot clock down to 5. This one deflected away. Here come the Gophers again. Johnson came out of there with it. Westbrook left open, short. And Diebler gets the rebound, and he's fouled from behind by Johnson.
Yeah, again, I think the Gophers right there had another opportunity in that transition break. If you spread the floor right to get a better shot in that opportunity, because when you're, Craig, you know this, when you're in a fast break situation, it's tough to match up from a rebounding standpoint. So you have the possibility to get a good shot, but also an offensive rebound for a putback.
Diebler open for 3, off the back of the iron. Nolan loses the ball. Ohio State's got it. Here comes Buford. Pull-up shot is there.
Again, the pull-up, the recognition. It's a 2-on-2, but the defender is backpedaling. I'm going to take it as far as I can go, and then I can pull up for a nice little 5 to 8 foot jump shot. Great recognition on Buford's part.
Gophers with the ball, trail by 3. Toby Smith has the coat off now. You know what that means? It's even more serious, doesn't it?
You got that right.
And Westbrook called for the offensive foul. You had it pegged. Using that left arm against Diebler.
The lost art of the pull-up jump shot, but William Buford is showing us why he's going to be a great player in this league.
Welcome back to Columbus, where the Buckeyes lead 34-31. And I caught up with Tubby Smith at halftime, and he wasn't as concerned with the turnovers as you think he might be, especially those unforced ones. He said Al Nolan doesn't do it that often, so he wasn't worried about it. He was worried, however, about stopping this Buckeyes, especially during that last timeout. He kept saying, take away the baseline. It's not that hard, especially the production of Evan Turner in the first half. Tubby Smith not happy with that. And one last thing, for a team that doesn't do that much inside the paint, he was happy with the production there, but he says we've got to get more looks on the outside, guys.
All right, Carissa, an 18-8 advantage at halftime. Minnesota in the paint. It's 22-8 right now, opening moments of the second half. 7 turnovers in the first half by the Gophers. They've committed 3 so far here, early stages of the second half.
Yeah, and, again, it goes back to good turnovers and bad turnovers, and that's probably what Tubby is talking about. The good turnovers you can deal with, the bad ones that stop the play, break the momentum, that kill coaches.
Nice look down low and a good finish. Lauderdale. Check that, B.J. Mullins.
Great dribble penetration by Buford, recognizing where B.J. Mullen was, but B.J. did a great job of allowing and stepping back. As you said, great defensive play by Buford. A passing opportunity to finish at the basket.
Ohio State gets it back on another Gopher turnover. Trying to build on a 5-point lead. Long three won't go. Minnesota clears the rebound. Hoffarber. Sampson, nice move, has to kick it back out, and that one intercepted again. Diebler's got it for the Buckeyes.
And that's great recognition by John Diebler, doubling down after recognizing that Sampson was going baseline. He had to clear and cover the opposite baseline. Great steal, great recognition by John Diebler.
Tubby Smith wasn't concerned about the turnovers at half. He's got to be concerned about what's going on right now. Mullins can't finish, gets another try, and he's fouled on the way up. Tomorrow on the Big Ten Network, the Badgers on the red-hot Nittany Lions. They'll clash at a Big Ten Conference game. Tip-off set for 3 Eastern in HD on the Big Ten Network. Wisconsin and Penn State. Badgers an uncharacteristic 6-game losing streak. They were able to snap that the other night. Penn State tough at home. Mullins connects on the first free throw.
As you see B.J. Mullins at the free throw line, Craig, he missed the first shot. One of the things that concerned the coaching staff early on was B.J. not being as aggressive, having the size, having the athletic ability, but not being the aggressive player a big man should be. And he's slowly starting to turn that around. And when that light pops on that he can dominate inside when he wants to, he will change the dynamic of this Buckeye team. And that's what the coaches are stressing for B.J. Be more aggressive and more assertive every time you're on the basketball court.
Example of that, 17 points against Purdue Tuesday. Game prior against Indiana, didn't score.
Yeah, it's that up and down that kills coaches. I'd rather you be consistent at 6-8 points than one day have a great game and next day don't show up.
Carter fights and gets his own rebound. You can tell the fans getting a little bit anxious on what's going on rebounding-wise, and a reload 3 by Hoffarber. And the Gophers make the Buckeyes pay and draw within 38-34.
Yeah, and if you're the Gophers, what you want to do is hang close. Don't turn the ball over, take good shots, keep this game close, knowing that at the end of the game, maybe our defense, we can ride our defense home, create some opportunities, and sneak away with a win.
You saw a nice advantage for the Gophers rebounding at 26-18 so far. Buford feeds down to Turner, short. Follow Mullins.
And that's what we're talking about. Go after the board aggressively. Hang around. A great play by Buford. Turner couldn't finish, but big fella Mullins inside answered and followed up.
Ball nearly turned over. Gophers keep it. Joseph gets it back. Down low, ball stolen away. Turner's got it. Even numbers. And that ball looks like it was tipped out of bounds by Johnson, so the Buckeyes will keep it.
Yeah, but even with that, Diebler and Buford had no spacing. So Turner's throwing the basketball to who he anticipated a player to be. If you look at the spacing, you have 3 guys all bunched up where 2 can guard. Not the right kind of spacing you want for a fast break. So now you have to take the ball out of bounds instead of having an easy 2.
Not every day you see a guy 6'7", basically running the point.
Well, you know, you're starting to see it a little bit more now, but when you have that ability like Evan Turner, you want to utilize it. And right now the Buckeyes are putting him in situations where he can be successful, then in turn that makes his teammates successful.
Hoffarber in trouble after the Minnesota forced turnover. Gophers now settle down on offense. Trailing by 6 in this game. 12 minutes to go. Gophers trying to sweep the season series against Ohio State. They won back on January 3rd in Minnesota. 6 on the shot clock. Joseph, long 3. Won't go. Diebler the rebound.
You know, one of the things I think that hurts this Gopher team is Al Nolan's lack of ability to shoot the long ball at times. I think as he grows as a player, he'll develop that in his game. But what happens is the point guards have a tendency to over-penetrate or not take the good shot when they have it because they're not confident in their jump shot, and that hurts your offense a lot of times.
A lot of aggressive hands here in the second half. That ball tipped away. Hill was able to keep it. Goes up against Sampson. No contest there. Sampson with the block. Minnesota with the ball.
Yeah, and P.J. Hill kind of falls in that same category. As you see Damian Johnson taking it coast to coast. That time, P.J. not as confident in his jump shot, over-penetrates into the trees inside and tries to make a tough shot.
Nine steals in this game for Minnesota, right at their season average, which is phenomenal numbers. Timeout on the floor. Minnesota playing defense on one end, and then go to their defensive specialist to finish on the other. 40-36. Tight game between Minnesota and Ohio State. Buckeyes lead at 40-36 over 19th ranked Minnesota. State and conference bragging rights are on the line when number 18 Michigan and Michigan State collide on the mat in Big Ten wrestling tomorrow at 8 Eastern only on the Big Ten Network. The hardwood this afternoon on the Big Ten. Michigan State, the winner over Indiana, 75-47. UConn in non-conference play tops Michigan, 69-61. Good battle there. And Iowa outlasts Northwestern. Tough loss for Northwestern. Eyeing a victory there on the road. Didn't get it today, falling to 4-6 in conference play.
And Northwestern is now playing with a confidence that they feel they can go in on the road and win a basketball game, whereas before, they probably didn't feel that way. So I had a chance to cover them in the Wisconsin game, and it's a totally different Northwestern team than what you're accustomed to in the past.
Ohio State has to play Northwestern twice yet before the season is up. Shot is good from the baseline by Simmons. Big 3 ball there, 43-36.
You know, the thing about that play right there, very patient. Inside to Evan Turner, he took his time, sucked in the defense, swung it around to William Buford, immediately to Simmons for a 3.
Foul is on Turner. Only the second team foul on the Buckeyes. Westbrook forced out. Westbrook just 4 points in this game. He's Minnesota's leading scorer, and another turnover forced by Ohio State. Quickly down court. This one intercepted by Iverson, and Nolan brings it up.
You know, sometimes being a playmaker, sometimes you get a little bit ahead of yourself and go for the home run. And right there was an example of Evan Turner trying to go for the home run instead of looking at Jeremy Simmons running the break here. Now he can penetrate and has an opportunity to either score or give it to BJ underneath.
Shot won't go. Mullins the rebound. He gets poked in the face. Mullins against Iverson. Kicks it in the corner. Diebler 3, and he hits it.
And that's one thing B.J. Mullen can do. He can make plays for his teammates. I like to see him be more aggressive just as that. He may not have taken the shot, but he sucked the defense in, got in the air. Great recognition for Diebler for an open three.
30-second timeout, Minnesota. Biggest lead of the game for the Buckeyes. 46-36 over 19th-ranked Minnesota.
And I think, here it is. Inside, he had a chance to shoot, great defense, but he recognized that Hoffarber sucked into the lane, and he saw an open three-point shooter. Again, one dribble, two dribbles, recognizing, hand in the face, outlook, outlet to the open man. Being able to make plays for your teammate as a big man is critical because you're going to get double team, triple team that time. And if you can make the correct play, now things open up for your team. And that was a great job by B.J. Mullen.
Diebler with 3 threes, good for 9 points in the ball game. Diebler, part of the young group here at Ohio State, just a sophomore. Minnesota now trailing by 10, has the ball back. How big is this possession?
Well, it's huge for Minnesota right now. And they came right in. Again, dribble penetration into the lane, lack of communication on the Buckeyes' part. You have a Hoffarber who's a great shooter. There's no way he should be open. But a great possession by the Gophers.
His second 3 of the ball game. Trims the lead for now down to 7. Turner finds an opening, fouled on the way in. And this one's going to go on Johnson, who's done a nice job defensively against Ohio State's budding superstar.
Again, recognition, understanding they're clearing out for Evan Turner to make a play. A little hesitation right there allows Evan Turner to get his shoulder by Damian Johnson.
Turner with his 9th point.
Substitutions for Ohio State, number 4, PJ Hill, and number 52.
Lauderdale and Hill come in for the Buckeyes. Mullins gets a breather, and so does Simmons. So Turner, the Big Ten Player of the Week. And he caps that up with a 26-point effort against Purdue the other night.
Yeah, and in that Purdue game, very similar here. As a young team, knowing how to close a team out. And this is a very critical juncture of this game because the Buckeyes have a tendency to allow teams to get back in. Right now, you're up 8 points. You have a chance to stop here and get a score and go up more. But you've got to know how to close teams out when you have them against the rope.
Hoffarber, another 3, and he hit it.
Again, Minnesota keeping it close, chipping away, giving themselves a chance to steal this game.
And a travel called on Hill. Took that first step before he put the ball on the floor. And another turnover by the Buckeyes. Couple of threes by Hoffarber, and it's a 47-42 Ohio State lead. Court recognition in this ballgame.
Yeah, it's a matter here. B.J. Mullen, if we freeze it here, Hoffarber is not in this play, but he got sucked into the defense. And right now, as we see B.J. Mullen go up for the shot, Hoffarber is now in this play here. As we move it forward, he has to recognize he has a shooter in the corner, doesn't get out there in time. Allow Damian Johnson inside to handle that. You can't leave a shooter in the corner. Great recognition again. Now, again, dribble penetration here. William Buford now, if we freeze it here, he has an opportunity to come in. Look at the defense, but here's a gap opening right in this area here. As William begins to drive, B.J. Mullen does a great job of recognizing, allowing that space to open up for William to give him a nice pass to the basket. One, great recognition on Williams' part, but also better recognition on B.J.'s part by not getting sucked in underneath the basket, allowing a passing lane for William Buford.
Well, Ohio State builds the lead up to 10, and then Minnesota sucks them right back in. Couple of threes by Hoffarber, and suddenly it's a 5-point game in a snap of a finger.
Well, I tell you, the hardest thing for a young team, and I'm going to go back to this, is knowing how to close out a game. knowing how to do it. Even if you get a a shot at the end of the shot clock, you did your job because now you've taken time off the clock. You don't turn the basketball over. And that is going to be part of this maturation process for this young Buckeye team.
Minnesota to inbound. Fresh clock. Ball thrown away. Diebler flushes home and finishes.
Miscommunication there between Al Nolan. He thought that Harfarber was going to go into the backcourt. He led him that way, but no communication there, and John Diebler was allowed to go in for the other end for the two-hand flush.
How frustrating is that coming out of a timeout?
Because you have a play drawn up. You want to execute coming out of a timeout, and to turn it over is not acceptable.
Harfarber answers again his third straight three.
Yeah, and he said, you know what? It was my fault because I didn't communicate, so I'm going to give it back to you with a three-pointer.
He has got the hot hand for the Gophers. Lead down to 4 for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, and the Buckeyes better recognize where Harfarber is at on the court at all times.
Well, this place ready to erupt, and Harfarber has pulled everyone down to their seats. 3 consecutive threes and a foul away from the ball on Sampson of Minnesota.
Minnesota foul on the 50-foul.
So now a 1-and-1 situation for Ohio State.
Team 7 bonus.
And they'll send Lauderdale to the free throw line. There's Harfarber's numbers. 12 points in this game, all on three-pointers. He's got 4 of them. And now Lauderdale missed 2 free throws earlier, a 45% free throw shooter. Working on this form that he hopes to be able to connect and does on the first one. That draws a pretty good ovation here from the home crowd. They know he's trying. For 2. And he will leave. And Mullins back in.
It's amazing when a crowd can really get into for a player hitting free throws, a la Ben Wallace, Shaquille O'Neal. I mean, they love it when they finally can, make some free throws.
No one against some pressure. Six-point lead for the Buckeyes. Harfarber, another 3. This time it won't go. Mullins the rebound. Iverson right there. But Ohio State's got it.
Yeah, if you're Thad Matta, yes, you got the rebound. But you're asking yourself and your team, how did Harfarber get that open? We can't allow it. He may not miss the next one.
They went to the hot hand. Can't come through this time. Mullins inside, off the wheel, and it clanks in.
Great play by John Diebler. Came off of that screen extremely hard. His man had the help. B.J. Mullen had the inside position. Great over-the-top pass for a finish to B.J. Mullen.
Buckeyes starting to pull away again. An 8-point advantage right now. Westbrook 3. Off the mark. Ball loose. Johnson there to clean it up, and he can't finish. Buckeyes out of there with their Turner running. Diebler corner 3. Won't go. And Minnesota's got it. Johnson the rebound. Here comes Nolan. Back in the corner. 3-ball. Count it, and a foul. Turner the foul. And Harfarber hits another 3-ball.
Well, and now, great recognition, not knowing where Harfarber is at in transition. That's why when you're in transition, you space the floor to get an opportunity. You're taught to contest a shot, but never foul a jump shooter. Now the Gophers. This can be a 7-point turnaround, 7-point swing. The 3 that Ohio State missed, but now a 4-point opportunity for the Gophers.
Harfarber connects, a 4-point play for Minnesota, and they are only down 4.
And plays like that change the course of a game. 5 minutes left in the game, you miss an open 3, now you come down and give up a 4-point play. Momentum going towards Minnesota. Now they can pick up full court a little bit, force the Buckeyes to make a play on the opposite end of the court.
Minnesota showing you why they're looking already for their 19th victory on the season, ranked 19th in the country. And a good rebound effort after getting shellacked by Michigan State the other night in East Lansing. Buford shot blocked by Johnson. Kick out Diebler. Short. Turner the rebound and put back.
Wait for the Buckeyes to stick with the play. Evan Turner had inside position. Never gave up on the play.
Well, that's a backbreaker and now a turnover to make it painful. 55-49, Buckeyes get the ball back.
Again, critical turnover at a critical time of the game. More of an unforced turnover here. Dragged that back foot. But these are the times when you really have to value the possessions, value the basketball, take the right shots if you want to win a close game. You can't have turnovers.
Turner, post-up shot won't go. Harp-Harbor the rebound for the Gophers. They trail by 6. Long three ball, good by Harp-Harbor again. That's 6, lighting up the Buckeyes in the second half.
You think he's feeling it? Do you think?
My goodness.
Now, we see this, okay? The Buckeyes have to recognize, I don't care if Harp-Harbor is out there by Tubby right now. You have to get up into him, make Harp-Harbor put the ball on the floor, run him off the three-point line. But it's great recognition on the Gophers' part to find him.
Turner puts up a wild shot. Rebound Johnson.
Great defense by the Gophers. Now they have to take advantage in the open court.
Harp-Harbor again for 3 off the mark. Iverson battles with Turner. They both hit the deck. And a foul coming up on Iverson. No, wait a minute. It might be on Ohio State. We'll get it sorted out and come back with the call. Harp-Harbor, 6 threes in this game.
Dave Revson, Rick Pizzo with you. Don't forget the Big Ten Tonight finale presented by Hampton coming up immediately after the game. All the highlights, all the analysis, all the post-game reaction from Columbus.
Plus, Michigan takes the nation's #1 down to the wire. Could the Wolverines do something no Big Ten team has ever done? Indiana, meanwhile, no match for the current kings of the conference. Why Michigan State enjoyed a green day against the Hoosiers, and the Cats can unlace their dancing shoes for now. We'll explain it on the Big Ten Tonight finale after the game.
All right, looking forward to that. 55-52, Ohio State leads Minnesota. Just 3:05 to go in this ball game. Dallas Lauderdale playing some defense. Our Navy defender of the game for the Buckeyes. Big fella going to work. And he also hit a couple of big free throws with the unorthodox free throw style to help out his team. And both these teams will need everyone to step up in the final 3:05. That last foul was called on Turner of Ohio State. Surprising many here, he picks up his 4th, and he has to stay in the game.
Well, he has to. It's a critical juncture in this game for the Buckeyes. You can't have your best player out of the game. As we see the rebound action here, Iverson, Turner, kind of a tough call. To me, it's a no call. The ball goes to whoever can grab it, but the referee saw it a different way.
So Minnesota will inbound, fresh clock underneath their own basket. Nolan will take the ball. He is the point guard. He's had some turnovers. How important down the stretch now is point guard play?
Very, very critical. One, you have to get the basketball to who you know can score. Second, you have to take care of the basketball, no turnover. Get your guys in the position to score and play, and defensively make the right plays on the opposite end of the court.
And another foul coming up on the Buckeyes, this one on Mullins.
Dribble drive penetration. Mullins comes out. Once you reach and commit yourself with that hand, the referee is going to call foul. And that's what happened on that play. The fans may not be happy, but it was the correct call.
Ball deflected. Gophers keep it into the corner. Now back out. Buckeyes with just 5 team fouls in the second half, so Minnesota not in a bonus situation yet. Ball lost by Carter.
Yeah, decision making. Drove baseline, nowhere to go, tried to throw a tough bounce pass inside to Damian Johnson. There's no way that pass was going to get there. Take your time, milk the shot clock a little bit, get the shot that you want, and try not to force the action.
Diebler 3, in and out.
Oh! Go get it, big fella.
They are on their feet at Value City Arena. 5-point lead for the Buckeyes. Pressure on the defense. Gophers keep it. Carter. Shot rolls out. Ball loose. Carter gets it back. Straight up. Misses the shot. The follow. But he draws the foul. You name it. It's going on right now.
Yes, you got guys diving for loose balls, getting their knees and arms and elbows scratched up because they know how important these possessions are. Right there, that play was created because of the hustle getting on the floor. Diebler trying to throw the ball back. Carter in the right place at the right time. Couldn't finish the first, the second, but stays with it. Now he's at the free throw line. And now you have to convert when you go to the free throw line.
Especially when your team trails by 5. So Carter will get one more chance. Just 1:37 left in the ball game. Ohio State needed overtime to upset Purdue in their last game here in Columbus. Will they need it again? Carter misses both, but Joseph gets the rebound. Inside Johnson, and he finishes for the Gophers.
The second time tonight off a free throw where you relax by the Buckeyes. You have to box out your guy. You have to get him off. And now you convert. The Gophers were able to convert an offensive rebound to 2 points, which makes it now a 3-point game.
Simmons calls the timeout. It's going to be a 30 for Ohio State. 1:15 to go in the ball game. Buckeyes with a 3-point lead over 19th ranked Minnesota. Big Ten Network basketball has been brought to you by State Farm, where great coverage means great rates. Call, click, or visit and start saving today. The Buckeyes have had the lead, but it has been tight. Under 5 minutes to go in the game. When they are ahead, they are 16-0 this season, and under Mata, 110-4.
Substitution for Minnesota, number 45.
After the game, coming up, the Big Ten finale. It's Minnesota and Ohio State post-game coverage of our game here, and of course, Michigan taking on number 1 UConn. Northwestern was at Iowa earlier tonight. Full coverage coming up here on the Big Ten Network.
And Craig, as you know by watching a lot of basketball games, winning and losing come down to the little things. And if the Buckeyes want to win, they have to box out on the free throw line and get little things. If the Gophers want to come in here, a defensive stop here, now you can go on the other end of the court and convert. The little things win and lose game, and that's what coaches try to teach you about concentration at the end, finishing out plays, and making smart decisions.
Replaces Jeremy Simmons.
So the foul by Nolan out high, that'll send Turner to the free throw line, and he's going to try to make this a 2-possession game with 1:04 to go. First free throw is there, so it's a 4-point advantage right now for Ohio State. Turner looking for his 13th point, playing with 4 fouls right now. Got them both. 59-54.
1 minute remaining in the game.
Crowd into it, trying to be a 6th defender for the Buckeyes.
And you know at this critical juncture, you don't want to give up a 3.
And a foul on Hill. Contact with Nolan. That's 17 fouls now on the Buckeyes, so Minnesota will finally get to the free throw line for the 1-and-1.
Yeah, and it was great recognition by Al Nolan, trying to exploit the defense. He understands that now you see Evan Turner on the high side of Damian Johnson, which means the baseline is open. So Nolan tried to attack that as well, and in the intern, he got a foul. Now he can go to the free throw line to score some points with the shot clock stopped.
And another missed free throw by Minnesota. Turner's got it with some pressure. And he is fouled by Johnson. 38.7 seconds to go. And a couple of made free throws here could make it a 3-possession game.
Yeah, and that's the difference between winning and losing basketball games at the end. You put yourself, Al Nolan, in a great position to get to the to get to the free throw line to score the points while the clock is stopped, but you don't convert. Now you foul on the other end. Evan Turner has a chance now to extend this lead even more.
Turner makes his 3rd straight free throw. On the other side, Minnesota's missed 3 in a row.
Yeah, and they'll look back if they end up losing this game and say, yes, there were little things that we've done wrong, but we also didn't convert on our free throws when we had our opportunities.
60-54. Tubby Smith looks on. Time starting to run out on the Gophers. Turner hits a pair for the 2nd straight trip down court. 61-54 Ohio State. Johnson pull up. Won't go. Sampson tries to keep it alive. Turner gets the rebound for the Buckeyes. And he is fouled.
And who's there to get the rebound? Evan Turner.
Now for the Hampton winningest play of the game. B.J. Mullins. How about the follow? Very nicely done. At Hampton, we love having you here.
Substitution for Minnesota, number 1, Paul Carter, replaces Ralph Sampson III.
Ralph Sampson fouls out with 2 points.
Ohio State shooting 2.
And another free throw by Turner.
Yeah, you know, Evan Turner may not have the scoring impact as far as shooting percentage, but late down the stretch of this game, his rebounding and free throw shooting shows why he's becoming the leader of this team. He may not have shot well, but he put his team in a position to win the basketball game.
Joseph quickly down court. 3 balls short. Carter tries to follow. Mullins gets the rebound, and he is fouled with 20.7 seconds to go. And the Buckeyes looking to cap this one with a couple of more free throws on the other end. And that would cap off a pretty nice week for Thad Matta's crew.
Yeah, a young team trying to find and search its own identity, getting good quality wins at home against Purdue, against Minnesota. And when it's a log jam in the middle here of the Big Ten Conference, these wins mean so much. It's especially when you win them at home court. You have to take care of home court.
And they're also growing a little bit. Thad Matta was telling us at the shoot-around today he's looking for more consistency from his team, and his team learning a lot, and this is the time for a young team to learn, isn't it, Jim?
Well, it is. You know, to be in these tough game situations against a Purdue, to come in and beat a hungry Minnesota team, and beat a team like that down the stretch where you have to make great offensive plays, but better yet, better defensive plays.
And a 30-second timeout call by Minnesota with 12.2 seconds to go, trailing by 9 in this game. And right after we're finished, stick around for Big Ten Tonight, the finale presented by Hampton. Dave Revson, Rick Pizzo, and our experts, Gene Cady and Tim Doyle, will have complete post-game coverage as well as recap the Michigan #1 UConn game, plus Northwestern and Iowa. Big Ten Tonight, the finale presented by Hampton, coming up next, right after our ball game. And it's been a good one here in Columbus between Minnesota and Ohio State. depending upon the action tomorrow when Illinois hosts Purdue and Wisconsin is at Penn State. The winner of this game, and perhaps if Illinois defeats Purdue, could be tied for second place in the Big Ten.
It's a lot of parity in the league right now. You're not going to get an easy win at Penn State, at Northwestern, at Minnesota like you did before. That's what makes this league so tough, and I think that's why we have a number 2 RPI rating as well, second to the ACC.
Westbrook throws one up, misses the shot. He'll get one more chance. Drives this time and still misses. Johnson, the follow with 4.3 seconds. And Nolan will come in on the substitution for Westbrook.
Substitution timeout.
63-56 is our score. Coaching to the very end.
Oh, always. I mean, you coach every situation. Even though it may seem like, okay, well, why are they doing this? Sometimes when you're down, you may run a play to see if it works because you may have to use it later on. A defensive scheme. Coaching never stops. I don't care when the game is over, you go to the locker room, they're thinking about the next game. They're thinking about how to get better. And that comes from veteran coaches understanding that if we can teach every time, we're going to get better.
And Thad Matta calls the timeout to counter his defense. Today's Marines player of the game, Evan Turner, 17 points, but look at the free throws. 9 of 10 from the charity stripe. The double-double had 10 rebounds to his total as well.
Yeah, when your best player can get to the free throw line and finish, I mean, that says a lot because he's going to have the ball in his hands at the end of the game. And your teammates and yourself have to have confidence that you can finish it off by making the free throws.
So we'll play out the final 4.3 seconds and a 63-56 lead for the Buckeyes. Inbound to Turner and a quick foul.
Yeah, the funny thing is if you're fans, you know you hate this part because they're fouling. But if you're a player, it's a good chance to really get to the free throw line and add a couple more points, you know, to your final line, you know.
Oh, you're thinking that way, former player.
Well, you know, I'm just saying that. Not that I've done it before,
could
but
enter your mind.
It could enter your mind as a player. You know, a couple more points doesn't hurt.
Well, you got to give Turner credit. He iced this game at the free throw line.
Yes.
Hits 1 of 2 on this trip down. 18 points. And Joseph connects on the layup, and that'll do it. Ohio State closes out with a 64-58 win. The proceeding has been an exclusive presentation of the Big Ten Network. Coming up next, Big Ten Tonight, the finale presented by Hampton. For Jim Jackson and Carissa Thompson, I'm Craig Kashan saying so long from Columbus.